Hello, everybody. Akamatzu here, back with another thoughts video. Today, it's on Final Fantasy II Pixel Remaster. Now, going into this game, I have heard quite a bit of negativity around the game. Not really anything in particular, but just that people don't like it. So going into the game, I had a bit of, I wonder what it's going to be like. Is it really going to be as bad as people say it is? And I have to say, I don't think it was bad as people made it out to be, at least for me. Now, Twitch chat, has told me that it's because I was playing the Pixel Remaster, and the Pixel Remaster version of the game has been a bit more refined compared to the original version. And I 100% believe them because I don't think they would lie to me. And the way they describe things have definitely made it seem like the original was a bit worse. But let's go over the things that I like, didn't care for, and disliked. Let's start with the things that I thought were good in the game. I like the fact that the game focuses more on a centered villain in the story with the Emperor. I like how they establish it from the very beginning of the game. This is the bad guy and stuff like that. And it follows the story of a bad guy. That's going to segue into my part two, that this Final Fantasy is a lot more darker. This is very dark when compared to Final Fantasy 1. Like, I was shocked by how dark it was. It reminded me of Persona 3 compared to Persona 4 and 5. It was like, wow, this is even in the same series? Very shocking. I thought it was refreshing even compared to the later games. I thought it was pretty refreshing. Just how, dark it was, and it was a nice change of pace. I appreciated that. I thought that was pretty cool. And those were pretty much all the things that I thought was overwhelmingly positive for me. Now let's go into the things that I was mixed on, and it's really only one thing, and it has to do with the skill levels that are involved in the game. So if you don't know, there are no character levels in Final Fantasy II. It's more like weapon proficiency, which we do see in later games. Like, for instance, in Final Fantasy X-2, it's not necessarily weapon proficiency, but it's dress spear proficiency. Now, where 10-2 separates itself from 2 is there is a dress sphere proficiency in an individual character level. Final Fantasy 2 does not have the individual level. And I think that's where its problems lie, but it's the second game in the series, experimentation. So I don't want to hold them at too high of a standard when they're just, figuring things out. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was good, but I didn't really overwhelmingly love it. I thought it was fine. And I think that in itself is fine too. I don't think I have to lean one way or another. It didn't really hamper my experience when I played the game that much. Not really. It didn't get in the way. It was fine. I thought it was interesting, especially when compared to Final Fantasy 1. And that was pretty much the only thing that I was on the fence about. So let's dive into the negatives, and it's going to relate to what I just talked about. So I may sound like a hypocrite. For 98%, 99% of the playthrough, combat was fine. I had no problems. It was basically like Final Fantasy 1, pretty much, just with the leveling being different. But when we got to the final boss, I could not beat it without grinding for about 30 to 40 minutes. Now, in the grand scheme of things, compared to later games, 30, 40 minutes is nothing. In the grand scheme of Final Fantasy 1 and Final Fantasy 2, that's a pretty decent amount of time. I didn't really have to grind in this game until the final boss. When I got to them, I was just overwhelmed. It was like I was underleveled. And that's going to segue into my last negative point about the game, is that this game has pretty much the same encounter rate as Final Fantasy 1 does. You fight all the time. All the time. Like I said in my Final Fantasy 1 video, the encounter rate, it feels like it's every 3 to 5 seconds. In this game, the boat, it was a lot better. The encounter rate on the boat was a lot better than it was in Final Fantasy 1. I felt like the encounter rate on the boat was worse than land in FF1. But for as much as you fight in this game, and you fight a ton, when you get to the final area in the game, you fight a omega ton. And I got to the boss and I fought all my way and I finally found out how like the leveling up works. Chad explained it to me when we were like towards the end of the game when I was grinding. Somehow I didn't fight enough. And I was dumbfounded. I was like, "Are you serious?" I fought a crap ton and I was still under leveled. I was also punished because I didn't level up magic as much as I could, and that's my fault. That was my fault. I should have dedicated magic. I pretty much did melee on everybody with Maria being the only magic person, and eventually it was still that. I leveled up magic like I think my highest spell was like level 4 or 5. It was my fault, but it was enough. After 30, 40 minutes of grinding, I was able to get through the boss, and I kind of basically just kind of forced it in a way, and I beat it. That whole experience was pretty annoying just for the simple fact that that was the only boss I had to do that with. I guess in a way that's kind of good, meaning the final boss was challenging, but at the same time, it was frustrating that it just suddenly failed. So I guess I'm complaining about hitting a wall. I will admit it's my fault for not leveling magic and stuff like that. But for how much the game throws fights at you, I was very shocked. I just wasn't high enough leveled. And that is pretty much all I have to say about Final Fantasy II. I did not hate it as much as people made it seem like it was bad. This probably has to do with me playing the Pixel Remaster version of the game, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I had a great time. I walked away just outside of the final boss having a great time with the game, and I was kind of shocked by how fun it was, really. It was very, very dark compared to Final Fantasy 1. The encounter rate was still pretty much the same, which takes up what feels like 50% of the game, and that's fine. It was a nice change of pace. I thought the skill system was a nice change of pace too, as well. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. Thought it was a fun time. Well, that's going to be the end of today's video. Do you and me share the same opinion on Final Fantasy II? Do you think my opinion is because I played the Pixel Remaster? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're down there, if you enjoyed the video, hey, consider giving it a like and maybe sharing it with your friends. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to join me on our Final Fantasy Marathon, I'm streaming it over on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Akamatzu. I stream every day at 2 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm on like a 540-day stream streak of streaming 8 hours every day if I can speak English. If you'd like to join us, we're going to be playing a lot of Final Fantasy. So, yeah, I'd like to thank you so much for making it this far in the video. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you all in the next one. Stay crunchy, amigos.
So dance, wanna